Good evening, dear friends. I'm asking only those who are truly interested in keeping their health in top shape to stay in front of their screens. As for the rest, please turn off your radios and televisions. Because today, we're going to talk about a few of the most important muscles, specifically three of them. And there's a bonus fourth one for those who watch until the end. Only they will find out what it is. This muscle helps us keep our spine in ideal condition, or at least pretty close to it. So, friends, take a look at what happens to our spine as we age. This is what your spine looked like when you were 18. You could run, jump, and you felt no pain. The discs were healthy, the vertebrae weren't deformed, and all the joints were mobile. These are the joints between the vertebrae. Who would have thought? In addition to the intervertebral discs, there are also these joints here. And this yellow part sticking out, those are the spinal nerve roots. The spinal cord itself runs here, inside its own spinal canal, within the vertebra. It's protected by the vertebra, but with injury or trauma, irritation or inflammation can occur, and right away, the nerve root is affected. So what does that root do? It's the connection between your control center, the brain, and your whole body. Both ways. Basically, they're like wires. They go straight to your brain. That's where plans are made. They form there, are born there, and are carried out thanks to nerve impulses that travel throughout the body. All starting from the brain. Let's say you have a thought. For example, you need to go to the bathroom. The signal goes to your legs. And what do your legs need to do? First, they need to lift you off the chair, right? You've got to stand up before you can go so you don't make a mess. That's why the impulse travels down the spinal cord like this. But you've never seen your spinal cord and you never will, at least not while you're alive. So think of it like wires. You've seen wires, right? Fiber optic ones, like cables going through here. A speed of, say, 1,500 milliamperes per second. Megabytes, kilobytes, you figure it out. Anyway, the speed is mind-blowing, lightning fast. Science hasn't even fully explored such speeds yet. No one's even imagined them. Not even electric cars can go that fast. So, the impulse travels along these wires, all of them, and reaches the muscles. The muscles faithfully carry out the brain's commands. They contract and move your body toward its goal. Then a reverse impulse comes from the legs. You step on the floor with your feet, right? The impulse goes back to the brain and gets processed. If that connection gets disrupted at different levels, which it often does, problems begin. The nerve root is what branches off from the spinal cord. Each of these roots controls a specific area of the body. For example, which nerve root should we take? Let's take the fourth one. Want to talk about the fourth spinal nerve root? It controls the trapezius muscle. If it gets pinched, let's say something presses on it. What could press on it? Maybe the muscle itself tightened up and squeezed it. Or the space between the vertebrae got smaller. Really, anything can pinch that nerve root, even just inflammation. And then there are a few possible outcomes. There are sensory nerves and motor nerves. If the motor nerves get irritated or there's some physical blockage, the signal gets weaker and the thigh will start to lose strength. No matter how much you try to move it, it will get weaker and weaker. And this will happen to all of us with age, gradually. Sure, you can train your arm and leg muscles, but if the nerve connection is damaged, if the nerve going to those strong, well-trained muscles gets disrupted, then those muscles, no matter how powerful, if their nerve supply is interrupted, that's it. They can't function. Atrophy sets in. And all sorts of problems come from that. Why does this happen with age? You're right to worry about pinched nerves, but you don't need to panic. A pinch is usually temporary. Here today, gone tomorrow. It'll pass on its own even if you do nothing. That's an acute condition. If a disc ruptures, it can heal. But if your foot is already affected, surgery may be needed to save the nerve. Urinary incontinence caused by a pinched spinal cord can lead to paralysis of the arms and legs. In that case, surgery is necessary. Otherwise, you just wait and let it heal. If you can bear the pain, do it. If not, there are ways to relieve it. The disc can heal on its own. But what doesn't heal? The deformations in the vertebrae themselves do not. These are the age-related changes that occur. What is that? Spondylitis, spondyloarthrosis. All of it falls under the general term osteochondrosis. Do you think osteochondrosis is just back pain? No, it's much more complex than that. It's a whole group of conditions. These days, they're also called degenerative dystrophic diseases of the spine. That is, the spine is degenerating. There are people like that, and they develop degenerative changes. Over time, we all start to experience this in terms of the spine as these changes take place. What kinds of changes? Marginal bone growths. They form on the sides of the vertebrae and deform them. The disc height shrinks. Joint arthrosis develops, and this space where the nerve roots exit used to look normal, but it becomes deformed. The joints above and below press down on it. All of this starts pressing on the nerve root, and the available space for it shrinks. The root has to adapt just to keep functioning and to stay nourished. So, what do we do now? That's the main question. The problem itself is already clear. I can see it. You're ready to write and ask me already, what do we do? So here it is. Let's talk about why this even develops. We need to eliminate the cause, but it's not just one single cause. Sometimes these changes show up in the lower back, but not in the chest or neck. So they don't develop evenly. Why does that happen? Because in each part of the spine, there is, well, you could say one main muscle, or sometimes 2 or 3 key muscles. If we keep them in relatively good shape, we can actually prevent a lot of these problems. So it's not necessary to keep everything perfect. It's enough to keep even just one of the main muscles in reasonably good condition. Now, what are those muscles? Let's start with the lower back. In the lumbar area, we have the lumbosacral muscle. I've looked at a lot of magnetic resonance imaging scans, and on those scans, these muscles are clearly visible. You can see them well. And with spines in this condition, a large percentage of people have very weak lumbosacral muscles. They can be so thin that they're actually narrower than, well, the width of the vertebral body itself. But people with strong lumbosacral muscles, I've noticed that their spinal changes are minimal, even if the other muscles are weak. Weak rectus, abdominis, or problems with the quadratus lumborum muscles can still cause issues. But if they've got a strong iliopsoas muscle, it holds things together pretty well. So the first key muscle is the iliopsoas. What do we do with it? A lot of people like to stretch it because it tends to shorten. Sitting a lot causes that, but it also weakens. That's why it's better to train it first, give it some load, and only then stretch it when needed. So, what are good exercises for it? Let's start from lying down if that's more comfortable. So, from a lying position. You lie on your back. Watch this. The simplest, very first move for those who've never trained this muscle is just to lift your leg. In this position, raise the leg, then lower it. Lift and lower. You do this on one side, then on the other. For those with weak muscles, or if your lower back tends to hurt from time to time, even this movement might be difficult. If you don't really feel any load, try this. Move one leg closer to the center and the other slightly to the side. Then repeat the same motion from that position. So now, instead of lifting the leg straight up in the center, you'll lift it slightly to the side, about shoulder width apart. From that position, lift it up. Next variation. Place both legs shoulder width apart and lift from that position. But again, those with weak lower backs might not be able to handle it right away. A more advanced version is when you place the second leg on top of the first and lift both legs together from that position. You can place your hands under your buttocks to prevent your lower back from arching too much. And in this position, lift and lower your legs. There's no need to lift your leg high. That's it. It's enough to lift it to about this height. Any higher and other muscles start to kick in, so this is enough. The second exercise uses resistance, like a rubber band. Hook the band, stand up, and just lift your leg. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Hold the band with your hands, and from that position, do the movement. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Do it to one side, then to the other. There you go. That's our lumbar muscle. This is the minimum load you should be doing, especially if you walk very little or don't exercise at all. At least these basic exercises, if done regularly, will give it some kind of load. Now, let's move upward to the neck. What muscles do we have here? We have the neck flexors and the sternocleidomastoid muscle. The sternocleidomastoid muscle tends to weaken with age in almost everyone. That's because, well, it almost never gets activated. So how do we activate it? Look, lie down on your back with me. Just like this. I'll show a few variations. For example, a static one. We just let our head hang off the edge like this, and we hold it statically in a natural position. Don't force it. Just hold it like this. That's all. Just hold. Hold for 10 to 20 seconds. 20 seconds should be doable. If your head starts shaking like this, that means it's time to train the muscle. It's already getting weak again. You should check it now and then. The second option is dynamic. Lift your head slightly, support it a bit with your hands, and begin moving it back and forth, back and forth. Use your hands for support so your stomach doesn't get tired before your neck does. In this position, start with 10 reps and then gradually increase over time. Next, lie on your side. From this position, you lift your head. It's a different kind of movement. Here, the sternocleidomastoid and the neck flexor muscles both work. You can also hold it statically. If your muscles are already somewhat trained or you've been doing this for a while, hold it in place between sets. Do the same on both sides. So you lie down. From this position, do 10 reps. If you're tired, rest for 10 seconds. If not, you can keep holding the position statically between sets. It depends on your level. For a long neck flexor, you can work it here or start with a static hold. For example, take a pillow and push against it with the back of your head. Something soft. Just grab any pillow, lie down, and press into it with the back of your head. That's it. Hold for 3 seconds, then relax. Press, relax, press, relax. And here's a more advanced version for those who aren't training for the first time. You can do it using your hands or take a towel, hold it like this, and press back against it. But for everyday training, static holds are enough. Just push back. Next, friends, we move on to the thoracic section of the spine. Here, you already know about the pectoralis minor and the rhomboid muscles. They're also prone to weakness. We've tried stretching the pectoralis minor together many times. I'll show you again. Look, you can stretch it in a doorway like this. Pull at different angles. Elbows at eye level, shoulder level, or slightly below. Stretch, then relax. You can use the doorway to stretch. It works well. Stand like this and stretch in different positions. The main thing is to feel the stretch here in the pectoralis minor. Try different angles. That's it. And to complement that stretch, you need to activate the muscles between the shoulder blades, the rhomboid and the middle, lower, and even a bit of the upper trapezius. So how do we train them? The easiest way is with a resistance band. Attach it behind a door, grab the handles, and pull toward yourself. Pull and try to squeeze your shoulder blades together as much as possible. What's important here? You don't need a lot of weight for this exercise. Choose a resistance that makes your muscles work, but not so much that you're straining to get through 10 reps. You should be able to do about 10 reps before you feel muscle fatigue. If the load is too heavy, your rhomboid and trapezius won't activate much. Your latissimus dorsi will take over. Basically, the more weight, the more the load shifts to the larger muscle, the latissimus dorsi. The latissimus dorsi is great, of course, but that's not our focus right now. Yes, it's helpful for spinal support, but without the trapezius and rhomboid muscles, its contribution isn't as significant. That's why restoring those muscles is our top priority. So we just take a resistance band, pull, and try to bring the shoulder blades as close together as possible. That's it. You can vary the hand positions. Pull like this, for example, to work the muscles from different angles. But overall, for daily maintenance of your rhomboid and trapezius muscles in a healthy condition, this is enough. You can mix in other exercises too. Do it like this, that's fine. This will activate all those muscles. Like this. Just stand and pull, but that one's more for variety. These same muscles also work like this. For example, you pull from here, up, down, up, down. So it's important to understand which muscle is working in each case. In this case, it's all trapezius and rhomboid. Other muscles get involved too, of course. So the variety of exercises lies in the fact that multiple muscles can be activated at once. But the key one here is the rhomboid. And now, for those of you who've been waiting, here's an exercise for the spinal extensor. This is another very important muscle, the back extensor. Some of you couldn't do it today, so let me show you how to train it at home on your own. There are exercises like hyperextensions, of course, but I'll show you how to use resistance bands at home to give this muscle a good workout. All right, friends. Here's an exercise to target the muscles running along the spine. The spinal extensor. We attach the resistance band to the door. And now what? Watch. 1, 2. We step into the band like this. We fix it just below the knees and then pull back. We sit in a way where the band already has some stretch. Then we move forward. If it's hard, use your hands to help. Then bend back. So forward, back, back. You can control the resistance. The farther you are from where the band is fixed, the stronger the resistance will be. Lean forward. And just in case, use your hands to help at first. That way, you can figure out what kind of load you can actually handle. You can also just hold it in a static position to feel how the spinal extensor is working. It's easier to do this on a regular stool than on a cushion, like I'm showing now. I'll demonstrate using a stool. It's even more comfortable with a stool, since you can place a cushion or a roller to lean against. Same movement exactly. 1. You stood up, sat down, and stretched the band so there's already some tension. Just make sure the band doesn't snap and fly up into your face. There. And from this position, move back a bit, then forward, back and forth. But you need to choose a resistance level that suits you. Basically, make sure it's not too easy for you. But during the first few sets, don't overdo it. Take it easy without straining too much. Then gradually increase the intensity. Also try it with a cushion. Without a cushion, whatever's more comfortable. Even slight changes in position can activate different muscles. The range of motion also varies. You can lean a bit lower or the other way around. If your back right now is, well, not in great shape, then don't move at all. Just sit in a static position and gently engage those muscles. Turn slightly to one side, and the muscles on that side will activate more. Exactly. When holding it statically, you can turn slightly to one side, then the other, to shift the load from one muscle to another. Later, you can also add a bit of movement, but only if there's no pain and you're doing it for prevention. Well, friends, these are the exercises you should be doing. Not all of them, of course. As you can see, this took quite a while. The video is already getting long and there are still a few more exercises left. We'll get to those next time. For now, try these out and let me know how it goes for you. So, that's it for now.